All right, so today we are going deep on some pretty cool AI research.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a research paper here all about uh, OpenAI's new language model.
Okay.
It's called O1 Preview. Well, we'll just call it O1 for short.
Sounds good.
Now, this is not just some AI hype.
Right.
This paper is full of real-world tests
Mm-hmm.
showing what O1 can actually do in fields like medicine and engineering.
Yeah, even art.
It's really amazing stuff. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
let's start with the basics.
Okay.
What exactly is
Wait.
O1?
Well, it's built on something called the transformer architecture.
Okay.
You might have heard of some other models like BERT and GPT-3
Right.
that use the same kind of foundation.
Yeah.
What sets O1 apart is the just massive amount of data it's been trained on.
Okay.
And it can handle these really complex reasoning tasks.
So it's like they took the best of what we already had and just like supercharged it.
That's a really great way to put it.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is they didn't just test O1 on the, typical AI benchmarks.
Right. They really put it through the ringer.
Yeah.
They had it
Yeah.
go through this academic gauntlet and evaluated it across all these different disciplines.
Wow.
We're talking high school math problems, college-level math problems,
Right.
having it look at medical diagnoses from those electronic health records.
Wow, yeah.
Even having it try to anonymize medical texts
Wow.
and analyze, like, public health policies, like the Affordable Care Act.
So it's like they enrolled O1 in university
Yeah, they
and
did.
just said, all right, sink or swim.
Right, exactly.
So what were some of the areas where O1 really excelled? What were its, strong points?
Well, one of the most impressive things was its performance on high school math competition problems.
Okay.
It scored near perfectly.
Wow.
And it even provided these step-by-step explanations.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just getting the right answer.
Yeah.
It's actually understanding the process,
Yeah.
just like a human student would.
It makes you wonder if in the future
Yeah.
we could have, AI tutors like this. Totally.
That would change how students learn.
It's a fascinating question to consider.
It is.
Now, in medicine, they had O1 analyze electronic health records.
Right.
And, those can get really dense and complex.
Oh, absolutely.
Doctors have their own language.
Totally. It's like a whole other world.
Plus all the medical jargon, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But O1 was able to provide diagnoses
Really?
with, a surprisingly high accuracy,
Wow.
especially when it came to those shorter records.
Okay.
It seems like it's really good at summarizing concise information
Mm-hmm.
and picking out those key patterns.
So it's like having an AI assistant.
Yeah.
That can kind of sift through all this data
Right.
and say, hey, doctor, look at this. This might be important.
Exactly.
And that can save so much time,
Totally.
potentially even improve patient outcomes.
Absolutely. And another area where O1 really impressed
Yeah.
was in anonymizing medical texts.
Okay.
You know how crucial patient privacy is in healthcare?
Absolutely. It's paramount.
Well, O1 was able to detect and remove sensitive information with remarkable accuracy.
So it's like a built-in privacy protector
Yeah, exactly.
for these medical records.
Pretty much.
Okay, so we've seen that O1 can ace these high school math problems,
Right.
analyze medical records,
Mm-hmm.
and even protect patient privacy.
Yeah,
But I'm guessing it wasn't all smooth sailing, right?
right.
Where did O1 kind of run into some trouble?
Well, college-level math proved to be a bit more of a challenge.
Okay.
It seems like O1 is still prone to some errors
Huh?
when it comes to that more complex, multi-step problem solving.
Okay.
It can get kind of lost in the weeds and
Sure.
miss some of those crucial logical steps.
So it's got the basics down,
Mm-hmm.
but still needs to work on those higher level thinking skills.
Yeah.
Like, give us an example of where it kind of stumbled.
Sure. There was one problem involving finding non-congruent isosceles triangles with specific criteria.
Okay.
And O1 identified some possible triangles, but it missed a key step in making sure that they were actually non-congruent.
So it's like it understood the individual concepts,
Right.
but it struggled to put them all together in the right way,
Exactly.
like in that correct order.
Yeah.
So it's still learning how to connect the dots, I guess.
Yeah, in those more abstract situations.
Okay, what about in medicine?
Yeah.
Did it have any, like, hiccups with the diagnoses?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the accuracy varied
Mm-hmm.
depending on the length of the medical record.
Right.
So with those longer, more complex patient histories,
Right.
O1 sometimes miscategorized conditions.
Uh-huh.
It might have identified, some key patterns,
Right.
but then misinterpreted their significance in the overall diagnosis.
So it's like good at spotting the pieces,
Yeah,
but not always putting that whole puzzle together perfectly.
right.
It's like having a medical student who's learned all the facts,
Hmm.
but still needs the experience
Yeah,
to develop that clinical intuition.
that's a great analogy. It really highlights how, O1 is still under development
Right.
and it's constantly learning and evolving.
So like any student, it needs practice
Exactly.
to refine those skills.
Yep.
What were some of the other limitations that the researchers kind of noted?
Well, they found that O1 struggled with tasks that involved sentiment analysis,
Okay.
especially when it came to like sarcasm or irony.
Yeah.
It takes those things very literally.
So it hasn't quite mastered the art of reading between the lines.
Not yet.
It's still working on it.
Right. And it also had some difficulty translating languages
Okay.
with limited training data,
Uh-huh.
like Cherokee.
So it could handle the basic grammar
Right.
and word recognition,
Yeah.
but struggled with the nuances and context,
Yeah, exactly.
which makes sense. It needs a lot of data to really grasp the subtleties of language.
Precisely.
So now I'm curious, how does O1 actually think through
Yeah.
a problem?
Yeah.
What's going on, like under the hood?
Let's pop the hood and take a look
All right, let's do it.
at O1's reasoning abilities. So O1 is capable of what we call multi-step reasoning,
Okay.
which makes it really well suited for fields like scientific research and programming.
Okay.
The researchers actually tested it on something called the SciQ dataset,
Okay.
which is this collection of science questions from all different areas.
So it's like a science trivia champion in the making.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Physics, biology, chemistry, all that.
Right, right.
They didn't give specific scores,
Okay.
but they highlighted Owen's ability to really grasp these scientific concepts and actually reason through them.
So it wasn't just knowing the facts. It was understanding those connections
Right.
and drawing logical conclusions.
Yeah, that's really encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it means O1 could potentially be used to assist with like real scientific research,
Right.
or even help students learn science
Yeah.
in a more interactive way.
In a way that's more engaging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of real-world applications,
Yeah.
the researchers also explored O1's potential
Mhm.
as an engineering assistant.
Okay.
They kind of envision it as this like chatbot consultant
Oh, yeah.
for engineers who are working on, these complex designs.
So instead of having to go through tons and tons of technical documents, the engineers can just go to O1 and be like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah, that's the idea.
That's pretty neat.
O1 would be able to synthesize information from all sorts of sources.
Okay.
Technical documents, past designs, performance metrics,
Oh.
and provide like expert level advice.
That would be huge for fields like chip design,
Oh, absolutely.
where speed and precision are just like so critical.
Right.
It could significantly reduce the time spent on research and, troubleshooting.
Totally.
Allow engineers to focus on the more creative aspects
Yeah, the more fun stuff.
of their work.
Yeah.
Now, beyond all the technical stuff,
Yeah.
the researchers also wanted to see how O1 would perform in those less structured,
Right.
more creative domains.
Yeah, they had it translate tabular data,
Okay.
like spreadsheets
Right.
into readable paragraphs.
Turning spreadsheets into stories.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's neat.
Really useful.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to instantly summarize complex data
Right.
into easy to understand reports.
Yeah, like presentations, things like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And while the paper does highlight O1's ability to accurately capture the information
Uh-huh.
that's in those tables,
Okay.
it also notes that it sometimes adds its own interpretations,
Yeah.
which may not always be what you want.
Right. You wanted to just stick to the facts and
Yes.
not give opinions.
Right.
But I mean, the fact that it can even attempt this kind of task
Yeah.
is impressive.
It's pretty amazing.
Speaking of creative tasks,
Yes.
you're not going to believe this.
What?
They even had O1
Oh, wow.
explore its potential in art education. How do you even test an AI
Yeah.
on its art education skills?
Well, they came up with some really interesting challenges.
Okay.
For one, they asked O1 to explain
Yeah.
complex concepts like career.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a framework for reflective learning in education.
Okay.
So it's not just about making art.
Right.
It's about thinking about the process
Yeah.
of learning and creating.
Okay.
And O1's explanation
Yeah.
was surprisingly close to that of human experts,
Really?
emphasizing how education is this like ongoing journey
Uh-huh.
of self-discovery.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It sounds like O1 is starting to grasp some pretty nuanced concepts.
Yeah, it really is.
Did they have it, like, design any art activities?
They did.
Okay, what did it come up with?
They asked it to design a cardboard assemblage art activity for children.
Interesting.
And it didn't just give, like, a rigid set of instructions.
Okay.
It outlined the steps,
Uh-huh.
but it also incorporated elements of choice and personalization.
So the kids can make it their own.
Yeah, encouraging students to add their own creative touches.
I like that.
And it even considered, like, the practical aspects.
Oh, wow.
Like suggesting breaks for cleanup,
Okay.
offering different decorating techniques.
So it understands that art is about more than just following the rules.
Exactly.
It's about self-expression, exploration.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really cool.
It's starting to feel like O1 could wear a lot of different hats.
Right. Yeah.
Scientist, engineer, artist,
Maybe even teacher.
maybe. But before we get too carried away,
Right.
it's important to remember that O1 still has those limitations.
Yeah, of course.
We were talking earlier about how it can struggle with certain types of reasoning.
Right. Like, it's really good at following rules and logic,
Uh-huh.
but maybe not so good at grasping the subtle things
Yeah.
that humans just seem to get.
Right, exactly.
And this was especially apparent
Yeah.
in its performance on this data set. It's called Logic QA,
Right.
which is designed to test logical understanding. But wait, I thought you said earlier that it did really well on that data set.
It did.
Like, it even maintained accuracy after they recalculated things.
It did. It excelled on those more straightforward problems.
Okay.
That involved a very clear application of logic.
Right.
But there were a few instances where it kind of stumbled,
Yeah.
particularly when the problems required a deeper understanding
Okay.
of the context
Uh-huh.
and the real-world implications.
So it's got the logic down,
Yeah.
but needs a little more practice applying it to those messy, complicated real-world situations.
Exactly. It's like it needs to develop a bit more common sense.
I see. Can you give me an example of where it missed the mark?
Sure. There was this one problem involving a passage
Okay.
about the dust retention capabilities of different types of trees.
Interesting.
They were recommending minimizing coniferous forests
Okay.
and planting more broadleaf trees to help with dust removal.
Right.
And the task was to figure out which option would most weaken that recommendation.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So what did O1 say?
Well, it missed the option
Okay.
that highlighted the potential ecological risks
Okay.
of messing with the balance of tree types.
Interesting.
It focused on that surface level logic of, dust removal,
Right.
but kind of missed the bigger picture.
So it was so focused on solving one problem
Yeah.
that it didn't consider the potential consequences
Right.
for these other systems.
Exactly.
It's a good reminder that even with these impressive logical abilities,
Yeah.
AI still needs to develop a more holistic understanding of the world.
Yeah, that brings us to a really important question.
Right.
What does the future hold for O1?
Yeah, what are the researchers thinking about
Right.
where this technology is headed?
Exactly.
All right, so let's shift gears
Okay.
and talk about the potential of O1. What's next for this AI prodigy?
Well, one area that's really exciting is the potential for what they're calling LLM agents.
Okay.
Imagine O1 is like the brain
Yeah.
behind an AI agent that can design and run experiments,
Okay.
analyze data,
Mm.
generate reports, even learn and adapt as it goes.
So instead of like researchers spending countless hours in the lab,
Right.
they could have these AI agents doing a lot of that, like heavy lifting.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds, it's amazing, but it's also a little intimidating.
It definitely has the potential to completely change how we do research.
Absolutely.
Think about it. O1 could pull information from databases,
Okay.
run simulations,
Yeah.
even control, like lab equipment,
Wow.
all while, being guided by its understanding of these scientific principles.
So it's like having a superpowered lab assistant
Right.
that never gets tired or needs a coffee break.
Exactly.
But how do we know that these AI agents are operating safely,
Right.
ethically, especially when you're talking about fields like engineering, where a mistake could have real-world consequences?
That's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
And the researchers definitely acknowledge those concerns.
Right.
They emphasize the need for, really rigorous safety protocols
Okay.
and constant monitoring to make sure that these AI agents are operating within very clear boundaries.
So even though these agents are so advanced,
Yeah.
they still need like a set of rules,
Right.
guidelines to keep them in check.
Exactly. It's like having safeguards in place to
Right.
make sure the technology is being used responsibly.
Yeah, responsibly and safely.
Right.
Now, kind of shifting gears a bit,
Okay.
the researchers also highlighted O1's potential
Yeah.
in education,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in personalized learning.
Oh, yeah.
So tailoring education to each student's individual needs
Right.
and learning style.
Exactly. Imagine a student having access to like an AI tutor
Okay.
that can adapt to their specific learning style, provide personalized feedback, even create practice problems that target their strengths and weaknesses.
That could be amazing for students
Right.
who struggle in those like traditional classrooms.
Totally. It's like having a tutor that's available 24/7
Right.
and knows exactly how to help you learn best.
But what about the role of like human teachers?
Right.
Are they just going to be replaced by robots?
Not at all.
Right.
The researchers see AI as a tool to support and enhance the work that human educators are already doing.
Okay.
It's not about replacing them.
Gotcha.
So AI can take over those more like repetitive tasks,
Okay.
like grading and providing kind of basic instruction,
Right.
personalizing content.
So it frees up teachers
Yeah.
to focus on the things that AI can't do,
Right.
like fostering creativity and critical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
those social emotional skills.
Exactly.
So it creates a partnership between humans and AI.
I think that's a really important point. It's
Yeah.
about collaboration,
Yeah.
not replacement.
I like that.
And beyond education,
Yeah.
researchers suggest that O1 could also like revolutionize
Yeah.
like healthcare, law, and finance.
Wow. We're really talking about a potential AI revolution here.
We are.
What kind of applications are they kind of envisioning in those fields?
Well, in healthcare, O1 could help doctors with diagnoses,
Okay.
analyze medical images,
Mm,
even personalize treatment plans
wow.
based on, a patient's unique genetic makeup
Uh-huh.
and lifestyle.
And lifestyle, yeah.
In law, it could help lawyers research cases,
Okay.
draft legal documents,
Yeah.
even predict the outcome of trials based on past data.
That's a lot of power.
It is.
It makes you wonder, how do we make sure that this power
Yeah.
is used for good,
Right.
not for something like nefarious?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it's something we need to be thinking about as a society.
Absolutely.
The researchers really emphasize the
Yeah.
importance of ethical guidelines
Ah.
and regulations as AI continues to develop.
It's like we need to set the rules of the road
Right.
before this technology just takes off
Yeah, before it goes too
at
fast.
full speed.
Exactly. And just like with any new technology,
Yeah.
there's going to be bumps in the road.
Oh, for sure.
But the potential benefits are huge.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really exciting time
Yeah.
to be exploring these possibilities of AI.
So as we wrap up our deep dives into O1,
Yeah.
what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think the most important thing is to approach AI with like a sense of both optimism and caution.
Okay.
We should be excited about all the potential benefits,
Hmm.
but also mindful of those potential risks.
Right.
We need to be asking those tough questions,
Yeah.
engaging in thoughtful discussions,
Right.
and working together to make sure that AI is developed and used
Yeah.
in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Absolutely. O1 is a powerful tool,
It is.
but ultimately it's up to us
Well,
to decide how it's used.
Yeah.
What role it's going to play in shaping our future.
Exactly.
So what stood out to you from all this?
Well,
What are your hopes or concerns about where AI is headed?
I think,
Let us know.
yeah, let us know.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
We're always up for good conversation.